He's a special individual leading a special group of men out there right now. And he brought, and it's him. He brought them all. This is his. So I'm just telling you what I saw with my own eyes. And if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have came home, got on a plane, went back to Dallas with him to TCU.
Will you be testing your skills on Prize Picks this football season? It's the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Look, I live here in Tennessee, so the real person in my family with football expertise is actually my mother. My mother watches more football than anybody in my family, and so I've created her a Prize Picks account. She's going to make picks all week. You can compete all season. You can compete against her on Prize Picks. My mother's been a hustler her whole life. It's kind of common. I'm going to tell on my mother. We got her picks up on the screen. I'm going to tell on my mother. She's the one that taught me and my brother how to hustle. And that's why I like Prize Picks. That's why she likes Prize Picks. If you love to play fantasy, hold on, go back. I want to tell her picks. Scroll back. You went too far. She's got Patrick Mahomes tonight rushing for less than 17.5 yards. She's got David Montgomery rushing for more than 52.5 rushing yards. And she's got Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs running back, rushing for more than 51.5 rushing yards. You can compete against my mother. She's trying to earn a little extra spending money. You know, mama needs a new pair of shoes. She's going to get it from Prize Picks. You can go to Apple Play for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Go to prizepicks.com/fearless and use the code FEARLESS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/fearless and use the code FEARLESS. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. I got to squeeze this in before I let you guys go because we were having this conversation before the show. Seth, you weren't here yet. You were getting all prettied up.
I walked in like this, Jim. Ooh, I wake up like this. I like it.
We were having a very fascinating discussion about Deion Sanders. And Warren was this close to getting me to believe that Deion's going to be super duper successful at Colorado. I'm still not all the way bought in, but and it started because Brett Favre was like, "Oh, Warren would make a great coach," and I'm like, "Warren Sapp would make a great coach? Get out of here!" And Warren's been down with Deion at Colorado. You've seen it all firsthand.
They pouring concrete. Just know this.
Y'all, and Seth, I'm gonna lump you in, even though I don't know your thoughts. Y'all all probably think the Deion thing's gonna work. Warren, you start us off.
I'm fully in because the man is so consistent and patient with them young men, and then he surrounded himself with good coaches around him. It's not just him. It's not just him. If it was just him, I'd be like, Prime, you can't do this all by yourself, baby. You're a Florida boy, and I know we walk around with chips on our shoulders and think we walk on water, but that's just too much. He's got a great staff with him, and the kids are all in. When he's in front of them talking, it's almost like they're in a trance. And you know how that is when you got a football team on one beat. When you got a football team on one beat, we can do whatever we want to do because we're all rowing in the same direction. And when you have that as a football team, that's special. Yeah. I'm just telling you, he's a special individual leading a special group of men out there right now. And it's him. He brought them all. This is his. So I'm just telling you what I saw with my own eyes. And if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have came home, got on a plane, went back to Dallas with him to TCU.
I just great players, I don't think, make great coaches.
Not always.
Not always. Usually never.
I don't think ever.
Usually never.
There's always an exception to the rule.
It is.
We'll name them.
Deion Sanders will be that exception.
One game.
No. He won at Jackson State, didn't he?
Wait, let me ask you a question before you go to Brett and then you end up with me about Deion. What is it about Deion besides him being a great player that makes you doubt that he can?
Arrogance. Okay. Arrogance.
A little male jealousy right there.
No.
Arrogance.
No. Listen, I know
what he did. You got to have that supreme confidence that you can go out there and shut out 1/3 of the earth.
I disagree.
What do you mean?
Warren, I've watched all you guys play, and I have tremendous respect. Did you finish runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year? And, I mean, you guys are all special-level players. I watched all of you play. You're incredibly gifted, and I think a lot of times incredibly gifted people have flaws that their gifts make up for, but they think their flaws are part of their strength. And Deion was not the greatest corner to ever play the game, in my opinion.
That's fine.
Because of his arrogance. God bless.
Just because of his arrogance.
No. I'm saying I don't think that's what made him great. God gave him some incredible gifts in the womb, and he maximized that and worked hard and did all that. But it's not the arrogance. The arrogance to me is a shield or a beard for some insecurity. And just to be quite honest, when I see people that over the top, when I see people, he's my age, we're 56, we're the same class. I see people still wearing gold chains at 56. That's some insecurity. And because I bought some gold chains. And
I never wore gold chain in the beginning, but I got me a nice Cuban now.
That ain't the level I'm talking about. He run around with Run DMC. And again, I'm not a Deion hater. I just
got a little male jealousy.
I don't. I really don't. I would love for Deion to be a success. Humility is at the foundation of all sustainable success. Swagger and all this other stuff we love to talk about. We love to rap about it. We got to have it. Put it on display. Yeah. That's all worthless.
But his patience makes
some of the things you were telling me.
No, I'm telling you.
Are humble acts.
I'm telling you.
The patience, the work ethic. You talking about when he's driving 90 minutes to go coach high school football.
Yeah.
That's humility.
Yes.
But I see too much arrogance to think that it's sustainable. But I'm open to being proven wrong.
See,
I like that. You open for it.
Without question.
Okay.
When I watched Deion and when I watched what happened, okay, so I got into a little dispute on social media because somebody fired. They were talking about, he was over the top. And I said, and I'm part of the media now. But I think one of the greatest injustices and one of the greatest problems with the media is that when someone writes something or someone says something and they get proven wrong, they don't have to eat crow. They don't have to go back and recant. They don't have to go back and say they got it wrong. See, my brand is that, I don't bite my tongue. I tell it like it is, and it might not work on a national level sometimes, but that's in Philly, that flies because that's what they want. But when I get it wrong, like I said, Brandon Graham will never be a double-digit sack guy because I've been around football long enough to know I can look at a guy and tell you, guess what, he got 11 sacks last year. The minute he got 11 sacks, I went on air in postgame and said, hey, I got it wrong. Congratulations to Brandon Graham. I sent him a text, okay? And I think that's the way it should be. But you can't talk about Deion and you can't talk about his kids and what they can and what they can't do in the national media and think he ain't going to come at you. You know who you dealing with. He's been arrogant, and I won't say arrogant. I'm going to call Deion one of the most confident football players that I ever seen in my entire life. He's overly confident. If everybody else walked in that kind of confidence, they'd be amazed at what they can accomplish, okay? So you can't come at him and think that he's not going to come back at you, You just can't.
Ed Werder didn't come at him.
That wasn't Ed. It wasn't Ed. He
was talking to Ed Werder.
It was the other guy. It was the Shanique guy.
I missed this. What are y'all talking about?
The guy wrote an article saying all this buzz in college football right now.
Sapp, you in my lane.
I'll show you the guy.
No,
it wasn't Ed Werder. Wasn't Ed.
Sapp.
Wasn't Ed. Why would he be asking Ed Water if he believed? What did Ed Water write?
Sapp. You know me and Ed Water are peers.
Brother.
This would be like me arguing with you about Joe
you're
Green.
not. When I'm sitting here, I know the guy that he was
I know Ed Water.
It wasn't Ed Water.
It was Ed Water.
What did Ed Water write?
He didn't write anything.
When you say I read that bull junk, because you can hear the guy's voice in the exchange.
He was talking to Ed Water.
It's an Indian reporter named Shadiq something, and he wrote all this noise about Colorado. We're just basically going to be talking about a 2-10 team or worse.
Ed Werder, I'm friends with Sapp.
Here we go. You wasn't there.
I talked to Ed Werder.
Ed Werder cannot
I heard
say that
Ed Werder's voice
say,
believe in what? That was Ed who said believe in what? I know Ed Werder's voice.
Oh, no.
We're peers.
No.
Again, this is like me arguing with you about Derek
Hey,
Book.
you wasn't there. I got the video from the boys that's in there. I know exactly who he's talking to. I can show you the reporter with his tweet because I even tweeted him. Come on, stop it.
After a while, I just let him sack me.
I do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just
What did Ed Werder write?
He didn't write anything.
Exactly.
And that's why.
He ain't talking to him. He said, I read that mess that you wrote. Do you believe? And the guy said, believe in what? That wasn't Ed Werder.
I believe they're going to win more than 2 games.
Absolutely. They'll be 2-0 after this week.
I think
a great player. This dude is. I don't think any of you guys could be great coaches. You're too great at players. But
I could.
No,
you could.
You know what you got to be.
You could be a great coach.
I could.
You know what you got to be.
But now, later in
life, because we've learned.
And I'm not as
hot-headed and fly off the handle as we were.
Sometimes it's best to just pause, think about it, rather than talking or yelling or screaming. I think there's a call for that, if needed. But getting back to Deion, I think Deion's at a place in his life where he's ready to accept that role.
Absolutely.
He's a marketing machine. There's no question about it. You can't fault him for that. From day one, back in the day, maybe he when he was drafted and he was playing baseball and football, he was feeling it, and it was all because of him. Now he gives the glory to God
and himself.
Well, I mean, I think he deserves some.
I don't. Not as a Christian. I can.
Well, and we can argue this. At what level of Christian
I've accomplished, again, and he's not at a very high level. In the sports writing deal, I've accomplished a lot. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Anything you accomplish on the football, you may not know it, but one day you'll find out it didn't have nothing to do with you. This is for believers, if you're a believer. And it's just factual. And so I don't think Deion doesn't realize that, and I just think at our age,
nothing to do with this. It's already written. You just got to live it.
No, it's not written. But dude, I'm so flawed and so messed up and so.
Oh no, I'm born in the sin. I got that part.
I'm so unworthy.
I only need faith as big as a mustard seed. I'm fine. You talk about a belief? No, come on. I was raised in the church. You beat me to Sunday school and you meet me at church.
Here's what happens, though. Here's what happens with great athletes. It is literally, though. I mean, you have so much success. You get so much adulation. You get so that it clouds things, and you do start believing. You make your own self an idol. You make your own, and it's called idolatry. You make your own self an idol. I've been through it to a lesser level. To a far lesser level, but again, had a lot of success.
Y'all almost won.
So no. I'm talking about as a journalist. As a journalist,
I'm just checking.
I'm a Hall of Fame journalist, sports journalist. I'm a Hall of Fame sports journalist.
They got one of those?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I've been through that mental deal where I thought I would. Man, I'm it. Look, mom, daddy, everybody counting on me. Blah blah blah.
Have there been?
It ain't me.
Have there been coaches in the NFL that you think that have been non-players that are guilty of that same thing that had success?
Guilty of the coaches are arrogant. Yes, all of them. Even Bill Belichick's arrogant.
Absolutely.
He's had a ton of success.
That's the only way you're going to be successful, though.
I know,
but the way you pick a rugby player in the third round and play like it's something that's good for the team.
The smart ones are at war with their arrogance. Deion is leaning into his arrogance and confidence. He thinks it's what makes him successful. That's a mistake.
I think you need to visit him. You ain't seen him in a while, have you?
Well, no, I haven't.
You need to go visit him.
And so all I can do is look at his post-game press conference. He came into his post-game press conference,
with receipts.
Sat down, screaming receipts, then sat down and started talking about his kid, Shador, and then and then himself, and then finally, and then he started picking on Ed Werder and other people in the media and all this other stuff. And finally he got around to by Monday, when he started going on Skip Bayless's show and Pat McAfee, he finally got around by Monday, started talking about the kids, everybody else. And Deion is well-intentioned, but what happens and you guys know it because y'all have had a lot of success. You've been star athletes in junior high, high school, college, pros, and when you're paying all the bills, people don't question much of what you do. And it can create an arrogance that you need to be humbled from. And so there's, and because I've been through it, I've needed to be humbled greatly and very.
You're a bad child too, so it might,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It might all be in one big cylinder here. You're just spinning around.
And that's all I'm saying. For long-term sustainable success, that arrogance is going to bite Deion in the rear end, in my opinion. I'm rooting for him. I hope that he finds this humility. I hope he hears me, if he happens to hear this, in context. I would love for Deion. You know who who I had a very negative opinion of for years? Michael Irvin. And then I sat down with Mike, and I'm like, oh, my God.
That dude's passionate about everything.
Yes. He's authentic. And I get all the flaws because every mistake that Michael Irvin ever made in his life, I'm very capable of having made that mistake. Every last one.
We all are.
And so I love Michael Irvin. After sitting him down with him and seeing where he's from, I've sat down with Deion because, me and Deion have had disagreements over the years, and I've sat down with Deion. I think Deion's well-intentioned, but he's still drunk on his success, and I get why. Okay. I get why, but I hope he comes out of it. We can all recover from it. Dude, and again, on this show, and Seth done said it, and I always keep it real. And that's why I'm glad. This conversation's been awesome. It's everything that I dreamed about. Yeah, everything from all of you. Because I do want to just have a real, but if you listen to this show, man, Sapp, I talk about it all. I used to live in strip clubs. I used to live chasing 25-year-old. I used to, and I talk about all of it. And I needed to be snapped out of that and humbled. And I left L.A. and a lot of money on the table because I needed to get right.
It's okay.
Can I make this analogy? A leopard might never change his spots, but he does shed a couple of times in his lifetime. Okay? So while Deion might not be able to change his spots, the transformation, he's seen it up close and personal. The one thing he's passionate about what he does. He's passionate about these kids. And I believe he's going to upset the apple cart of NCAA football because he's going to start snatching more of those top 150 athletes, and it's going to piss off Georgia and Alabama and everybody else in college football.
Did you see what ATM brother said?
Who?
ATM from Jacksonville?
No.
He told his little brother. Yeah. So you might need to go see Prime.
See, because, what Deion is going to, and listen, I've been on teams before where we had the horses, and we were rocking and rolling. And then when Jerome passed away and Reggie left and, we started losing players, it was like, man, we in the race, but we ain't got the horses. We can't compete, I love Tim Harris, man, but they brought Tim Harris in to replace Reggie. And Tim Harris talked more garbage than Chris Carter, okay? Yeah. And we playing on the same side now because I played next to Reggie for
Shut up and play.
like eight years in my career. And he is just, and they dragging his ass 10 yards down the field. I'm like, Tim, shut up, man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, will you please be quiet? So they run the ball to the other side. We need a break over here, But it's like, when you're talking about horses, man, you got to have horses. Now, he's going to have the benefit of a great coaching staff and the benefit of horses. He's going to have all the horses he needs, man.
Yeah.
And that's going to be unstoppable, man. That's going to be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now. He is upsetting the apple cart. And you know why I love it? I love it because everybody believes the ex-players can't play the game. How is it? Can't coach the game. How is it that I can play the game for 13 years, okay? That I can sit under 5 of the greatest minds that ever coached in the National Football League? Buddy Ryan, Bud Carson. For y'all who don't know who Bud Carson is, Bud Carson was a defense coordinator. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking. Bud Carson was the defense coordinator of the Steel Curtain, okay? I played for Fritz Shermer, okay? I played for...
Let me give you the answer to what let me give you the other side of that argument, and because I get what you're thinking. In the sports writing lane, I'm telling you, in the sports writing thing, I'm on y'all's level. I'm a terrible editor because people will send me their work, and I can see all the flaws in it. And I don't have the patience to wait on them to fix it. I'll tell them what to do, and so you know what I just do? I just jump in there and rewrite it, fix it up myself, and just sit there and say, man, I ain't got time for this.
That's the word.
I'm a terrible editor. Now, you'll get some work under your name that will look like, and people will be like, man, this dude is cold-blooded, or this girl is cold-blooded. I've rewritten a lot of work. And so I'm a terrible editor. And so I think sometimes when you're a great player, the answers come so quick for you, and you look at a player that's not as great as you, and you're like, what you mean you can't figure this out?
Patience.
And that's why people like Bill Belichick, who is not any good, was undersized, played in some little small he has that patience. Because he
got it now, though. He got it now.
Oh, he didn't have it back in the day.
If you go,
if
you go and you sit with LT and you sit with Carl Banks and you sit with Leonard Marshall, and you talk to them guys about Bill Belichick back in the day.
Horrible.
When they were winning Super Bowls with that defense, he was horrible.
He had no patience.
You talk about patience, okay?
Patience, none.
I mean,
they were loaded with horses.
But that's the other thing too, Brett. They was loaded. But my thing is, when you live in that world, see, I've been on teams, man, where coaches have made it all about them. It's like when you read a coach's bio, the coach's bio talks about the fact that, I made Brett Favre a Pro Bowler, a Hall of Famer. Well, that kind of minimizes the work that he put in. So what's a coach's job? A coach's job is to, a coach's job is manifold. I learned that as a youth coach because I had some kids that didn't have a father figure. So for 2 hours every day, I was their father. Okay, I had kids who wasn't confident, so I had to soup them up and pump them up. I had kids that needed to be kicked in the behind, so I had to learn each and every kid. My son was the same way. He wouldn't play until I got in his behind. I piss him off and make him cry. He'd set the world on fire. So being a coach is learning each and every one of your players and trying to figure out how you motivate them, and then having the right coaches around you to teach. And that's the thing that I see missing from football today is technique and fundamentals, okay? Because when I see a outside linebacker lined up with the wrong foot up, man, it drives me insane. Because I wasn't allowed to play like that, even though my right foot was my strong foot. If I'm on the right side, guess what? That right foot better be back.
Got to be back.
Because if they bring that other tight end over, or they crack and they toss it and I can't contain the ball, we got a problem. So all of this stuff, man, it's like Deion's in a unique position because he understands football, and he got coaches that understands the fundamentals and the techniques of football, and he's going to get the best players, and he's going to turn college football upside down. I'm telling you right now, man.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.